But one thing that gives me pause in this blame the nominalists narrative for why it all goes wrong in the period after Louis IX is the huge intensification of the level of violence apparently required to preserve orthodoxy in Christian society from the end of the 12th century onwards. And I'm trying to trace where that comes from, because although the legal apparatus for capital punishment for heresy is more or less in place in Roman law, even arguably from the 5th century, that's still an incredibly rare occurrence up until the late 12th century. And then suddenly we have this explosion in the Albigensian Crusade and very significant levels of violence used to contain heresy for the remaining centuries of the Middle Ages. And I was wondering if that's somehow connected to what's causing modernity to arise, and if so, what the cause of
I
it
think
is.
that one thing we have to do when we're going to discuss this sort of stuff is not try to hold constants. So things constant. So in history, everything is moving. So when we say in the earlier Middle Ages, say, there doesn't seem to be the force exerted to maintain orthodoxy against heresy, which is true. You get the first real sources for the significant concern about heresy and the persecution of heresy are not really until precisely the period of the First Crusade and all this stuff getting started, right? But that's not the question. The question you ask is, okay, is everything else being held constant but that? Or is rather what we're seeing is the construction of a Christian civilization where what is being sought after in society, so the conversion of peoples, what does it mean to convert to Christianity? Is that being held constant, or is society becoming more ambitious in that the faithful can convert to a Christianity that maybe in an earlier period they would have been inclined to think is reserved to the monks, right? And so the sort of discipline that exists within monasteries becomes something that is analogously approximated in the rule of society as a whole.